Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Jessie Vargas sends a subliminal message to Keith Thurman. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, a lot going on with the topic of Keith Thurman. He's been MIA since March of last year. They did a Showtime kickoff announcing their big fights and marquee fights for the first half of 2018. Good event, good fights. One thing that everybody noticed is there were some people like Gervonta Tank Davis, Keith Thurman, etc., who had fights. We knew what date they were going to fight, but we did not know who the opponent was going to be. One of those people, again, was Keith Thurman, and this kind of went against some of the rumors of who he was going to be fighting in May. They actually said April, March, but looks like May is the new date. Now, the rumor was that he was going to fight Jessie Vargas. From my channel, you never heard me complain about that fight. I don't necessarily think it's a tune-up fight. It's because I think that would be kind of disrespectful to Jessie Vargas to call him a tune-up. But it's a winnable fight for Keith Thurman. It's a good fight for boxing, and it's a good fight to, you know what I mean, just see where you're at and get back in the mix. Now, Jessie Vargas, he put this on his Twitter, and I'm pretty sure this is an indirect subliminal diss to Keith Thurman. He says, "How can you call yourself a champion and try to pick the easiest fights around? If that's your position, just let the titles go. Hashtag boxing, hashtag man up." Now, obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to decipher that this is most likely aimed at Keith Thurman. For starters, like I said, Vargas was linked to fight Keith Thurman, but now it's coming out that most likely Keith Thurman, and he said it himself in an interview, that it could be, he doesn't know who it is, but he says, hearing it from the horse's mouth, I don't think it's going to be Jessie Vargas. So it doesn't sound like Jessie Vargas is going to be the ticket, right? And the other thing is, you have to listen to the verbiage. Jessie Vargas says, if you're going to pick the easiest fights around, if that's your position, just let the titles go. Plural, titles. Keith Thurman is the only one at welterweight with multiple titles, right? And again, who else would Jessie Vargas be talking about? Who else has titles? Anthony Joshua, but he's fighting for a unification in a heavyweight division. So clearly Jessie Vargas is not talking about a guy like Anthony Joshua. So I really think this is directed to Keith Thurman. You guys can think whatever you want. And it really makes me question, who is Keith Thurman going to actually fight? You know what I mean? Because I thought Vargas was a perfect shoe-in. He's talking about rematching Danny Garcia or Sean Porter later in the year. He absolutely ruled out the idea of Errol Spence Jr. So it's going to be interesting to see who's selected for Keith Thurman in May. And some of the fans are sounding very lame, in my opinion, making all kinds of excuses. Nobody is expecting Keith Thurman to come back and fight Errol Spence Jr. after a layoff and a surgery, right? No one realistic. I definitely haven't said that. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of the situation. We understand he has to usher his way back, but the biggest thing is Keith Thurman's demeanor does not seem the same. For example, you listen to The Hunger. Errol Spence is a champion with one belt, and he's talking about, I want to fight 3 times a year, and he's well on track. He fought in January, beat up on Lamont Peterson and stopped him. Then he's going to fight probably a title defense in against a mandatory maybe in June, and then he could fight later in the year. So he's on track to do that, and he's at least putting it out there. So if it gets back to Al Heyman or whatnot, you can see the intent. You can see that he wants to stay active. Keith Thurman's talking about, oh, we don't know, and maybe I'll fight 2 times. It just doesn't sound like he's hungry to do it. And he's saying that Errol Spence is definitely a no-go. Like, and the thing that's weird, and no one's been able to answer this for me, is Keith Thurman got a surgery to correct an issue. Fact. That's the only reason you would get a procedure done, like a surgery done, is to hopefully aid and help in whatever your problem was. You had an injury to your elbow, cool. That's what the surgery's for. And he could go in his next fight feeling like $1 million, feel like, I could throw, I think it's his right hand, I'm not sure, but I could throw this harder than I've been able to throw in the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So he could feel great. So how do you know? You haven't even made the comeback to even know how you feel to discount or say that the Errol Spence fight can't happen in 2018. So that alone lets me know that you do not want to fight him in 2018, because you could come back feeling like shit. You could come back feeling great. You don't really know until you get in there. You know what I mean? But what if you get in there in your first fight and feel great? Then you rematch Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. You're like, okay, cool. And you get past them again, then it would be a possibility. But you're already X-naying that whole notion. So again, I don't even know who Keith Thurman is gonna fight. Hopefully, maybe like a Devin Alexander, maybe the guy who fought against Diego Chavez and just stopped him. I think Jamal James or something. I don't know. I really don't know who they're gonna put him in there with. Maybe a Luis Collazo rematch. I'm not sure. But let me know what you guys think. I really think this is Jessie Vargas getting at Keith Thurman. Let me know if he has a point. And see, this is the thing. You can't say anything. And I said this on my Instagram passage when I posted this. You can't take away from Jessie Vargas in terms, you can say whatever you want about him, but he's a warrior. He was down to fight the undefeated Kell Brook. And Kell Brook decided to fight Golovkin when things didn't work out with Golovkin and Chris Eubank. But Vargas, you can't blame him. He wanted to fight Kell Brook when he was undefeated. He fought Manny Pacquiao in his first title defense. He beat Saddam Ali, who later went on to beat a legend in Miguel Cotto at a higher weight. And Jessie Vargas stopped him. And he handily lost to Tim Bradley, but he still stepped in the ring with him. And he still rocked Tim Bradley in the last round. So his heart can't be in question. Jessie Vargas has showed that he's a tough out and he's willing to fight the best. So I can't really blame Jessie Vargas. And see, this is the thing that's kind of weird about Keith Thurman. And again, I just gave Jessie Vargas all those props about having heart and toughness, but his last fight he just fought, I think a guy that Brandon Rios just fought, or somebody. It was like a low-level opposition. Then before that, he was on like a year-plus layoff. Before that, he had lost to Pacquiao. So, damn, you can't even fight Jessie Vargas? You know what I mean? It's not like the guy has super momentum. He just fought in December against a low-level opposition. Before that, he was inactive. Before that, he had lost to Pacquiao. So it's just seeming kind of weird from Keith Thurman right now. It's like Jessie Vargas is too much of a risk. And I'm not saying that it's not a difficult fight, but Keith Thurman the guy with 2 belts would be favored to beat a guy who lost to Pacquiao, lost to Bradley, and has had 1 fight in the last year or so. You know what I mean? And it wasn't against like a Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. But let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.